Good evening, Carmel families. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to stop by the band room and visit us for our virtual curriculum night. It means a whole lot to me that you're here today. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Lane Mashburn, and I'm the Director of Bands here at Carmel Middle School for our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade band programs. On top of those 3 classes, though, I also teach a general music classes for each of those 3 grades as well. Those general music classes have proven to be the highlight of my week. I have so much fun teaching the information to this class, and your students are showing up to school every single day, being engaged, being involved in class, asking me questions, and they seem to really enjoy all of the information that I'm giving them, and they really like coming to my music class, which makes me feel fantastic, and it allows us to have a whole lot of fun in class as well. So in this general music class, we have been learning about all different types of music from different cultures around the world. The reason that I like teaching world music is to show students that the music that we have in America is not all that different from the music that other people listen to around the world. It allows us to connect to people that we wouldn't normally connect to, people that we wouldn't normally have any sort of relationship with. And it shows that there's differences between those nationalities, those countries, those cultures. Their differences should not be discouraged, but rather celebrated. And so in our class, we celebrate different cultures by listening to music, watching live performances, and studying musical concepts as well. For our first unit, we studied the country of Japan. Japanese heritage and music and culture is so rich, and I think that your students had a whole lot of fun learning about Japanese culture as well. We started off by learning Japanese music, different types of Japanese singing like shimoyo or gagaku, and then we moved on to different Japanese instruments like the kora or the biwa. From there, we learned about Japanese dance, a little bit about Japanese theater, and we watched a whole lot of performances along the way as well. For your final project for the Japanese unit, your students actually composed their very own piece of taiko drum music. That is incredible. A lot of these students have never even played an instrument before. They don't know anything about music. And they're in my class writing their very own pieces of music, counting rhythms, playing them out loud. And that is such a huge accomplishment that should be celebrated in my class. Seriously, they are doing a fantastic job writing their own music of stuff that they didn't even know how to do a couple of months ago. I commend them for that insanely. And then after that, we finally had our final Unit 1 test for our Japanese culture unit. So that is pretty much how every unit is going to be set up for my class based off that Japanese lesson. We're going to have music lessons, talk a little bit about dance, talk a little bit about instruments, talk about some of the culture. Then we're always going to have a project and finish up with a unit test. They did fantastic in that first unit. For our second unit, we moved on over to the continent of Africa. And since Africa is so big, that means there's so many different types of music and cultures that are involved in it. So we've been studying Africa for quite some time. The biggest component of Africa that I wanted your students to listen to is the drumming and the different types of rhythm that come from African music. A lot of music that we listen to in America is directly influenced from African culture and African rhythms. You might not even recognize it, but rap, hip-hop, rock, pop, gospel music, soul music, blues, jazz, those are all different types of examples of music that was directly related and came from African culture. And so now your students are learning about those different types of music and how they directly relate into the music that we listen to in America. For our next project that we've been working on, your students watched a video called The Slum Drummers of Kenya. This group of people essentially used recycled materials in order to make instruments and perform them around their villages in Kenya. Eventually, they got so big that they got to travel over to England and perform for the Queen herself. I wanted to show your students that no matter what materials that you had, no matter where you come from in life, music is a common thing that we can all relate to together. And so for this project, you might have noticed them rummaging through your trash cans or looking through your kitchen pantries. And that's because I wanted them to be just like the slum drummers of Kenya and make their very own instruments at home. And so they should be using recycled cans, bottles, different types of beads or buttons. Anything that they have in order to make an instrument is what they should be doing for this next project. And then finally, we're going to end up with their Africa Unit 2 test as well. They did great on this Africa unit, just like they did with their Japanese unit, and I really think that they're enjoying everything that we're doing in our world music class. Coming up next for our next couple of assignments and areas of study, we're going to be looking at the music and the culture of Ireland, and then we're going to be moving down into the music and the culture of Brazil as well. So those are going to be the next two countries that we stop at along the way. And then from there, your students are actually going to have their very own world music assignment where they're going to pick their own country, they're going to research it, and they're going to find out all kinds of different information about different types of music and different types of dance and theater and instruments and everything that has to do with the arts programs in these different countries. And that's coming up very, very soon. By the end of this school year, and specifically by the end of this semester with these students in my class, I want them to understand that our music that we listen to in America and the music that they have in other countries around the world isn't all that different. A lot of the ideas and the concepts are exactly the same, and they can come to appreciate, recognize, and realize these different cultures and their music by studying them, listening to them, watching videos and performances, etc. Now, if you ever want to access any of your students' work, the way to do that is really, really simple. Just go on over to my Canvas page, and you should be able to go over to the sidebar that says Assignments and Grades. Everything is going to be listed on that, and you can click through, go through all of the instructions, all of my feedback, check out their grades, and see what the assignments that they have due is. Usually they will always be listed, and I like to set out reminders and give them plenty of time to work on those assignments as well. Now, if you ever want to contact me because you have a personal question, comment, or concern, that's great. I always would love to talk to any of you parents out there. The easiest way to reach me is via email, charles.mashburn@cms.k12.nc.us. I try to respond within a 24-hour time frame. And also join my Remind code. The code is listed on my Canvas page, but sending out reminds is a really easy way for me to get out reminders, upcoming due dates, assignments, projects, any of that stuff. This is really going to help you guys stay on the right track and keep your students focused for my class. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. Thank you so much for being involved in your students' lives and helping them through this educational track. I love your students so much. They're doing fabulous work in my class, and I hope that they keep the hard work through the next part of this quarter. Thank you so much, and have a great day.